Thank you.
He always knows something we don't know.
Already. Board of County Commission now in session. Mr. Noel, you mind saying a prayer?
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we're gathered here this morning to take care of the business of Franklin County. We hope that everybody leave here with a successful and peace of mind. I want you to bless the world. We got people out there that's homebound and sick. Bless them, Lord. Bless our soldiers. Send a special blessing on the world and a special blessing on Franklin County. This we ask in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
to
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
We got one set of minutes this morning, 10:20.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The payment of bills.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Department heads, Mr. Howard Neighbors.
Morning, Commissioner. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I ain't got nothing for the board this morning.
Anybody got anything for Howard?
I don't.
Mr. Chairman, I do.
Yes, sir.
Report I'd like to discuss while Howard is here. Item 11. On September 1st, the board voted to confirm that Pogie Road was a public road. In the discussion, the planning office gave an incorrect length and area for the road. Instead of 485 feet north of Bluff Road, Pogie Road actually runs approximately 740 feet north of Bluff Road and then turns to the west for another 140 feet. The road department confirmed that this is the extent of the road they maintain. I need board action to amend the previous motion to include the additional 395 feet, which would make Pogie Road 880 feet.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank y'all.
Fonda Davis.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
I don't have anything this morning.
Anybody thinking for Fonda?
No. I would like Fonda to hang around for the sheriff's department.
Radio.
Discussing the radio.
Okay,
I'd like for you to hang around for that.
will do.
Ms. Pine Brownell.
Good morning, Commissioners.
morning.
I do not have any action items.
Anybody have anything for Ms. Pam? Thank you.
I'm also going to stay for the sheriffs because, you know, they're back up. So if they're changing radios, then I need to know what they're changing to.
Mr. Eric Lovestrand.
Good morning, Commissioners. Apologies for missing so many meetings lately. My travel schedule has been bizarre, to say the least. And I don't have any action items for you, but I did have a couple of program areas I've been working in that I wanted to update you on and let you know what I've been working on. One is the facility that we've been working towards trying to get the extension program moved into. And UF facility staff have been working on that effort. They have actually met with the contractor and tightened up some of the cost estimates for the projected budget for that. And we're getting closer to some real numbers. It's a very fluid situation, though, as you kind of work down to get to what the actual costs are going to be. So they're working on that. I have submitted a second budget information request form that actually came from Senator Alan Hayes' office. And it's basically the legislature's effort to track the funding that they've provided and find out how that's being expended and what the important outcomes are for that money. And so at this point, we haven't actually spent any of those funds, but I filled out the information and sent that into the Senator's office. And the FDACS contract that needs to be in place between their agency and the University of Florida to transfer those funds, because that's where the funding landed in the budget this year, is in works and should probably be routed to the university facilities folks by now. I just need to follow up on that one. I talked to somebody at FDACS last week before I went to the meeting in Utah. We do have an executed sublease agreement with DEP's Florida Coastal Office for the facility and the grounds that it sits on. And that's kind of an interim step in us actually having that property piece transferred over to the university in the end. The State Board of Trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund are the entity that manages state properties like that. And so they will transfer that eventually, but we had to go through the interim of having a sublease with DEP for the property since it's currently under their management. And it's a little longer process to go through the board to get that final transition approved, but we will be working towards that. And the last I heard, we anticipate starting construction down there sometime in January and moving forward. They say that if we do that, we should be able to be in that building by summer of next year. So looking forward to trying to get some things moving on that. The second item that I just wanted to update you on was my participation in the recent Interstate Shellfish Sanitation Conference that took place in Salt Lake City, of all places. But it's a national meeting, so Salt Lake, Utah is actually a participating member in the conference. They don't produce any shellfish there, but they are involved in marketing and packaging and processing, and so they are one of the member states. They're just not considered a producing state. It was a very educational experience for me to go to that meeting and see how the ISSC, basically, which is designed as an organization to kind of bring together the regulation side of things for the shellfish industry and the industry folks and the state agency people that have to work with those folks in their states to make decisions regarding the model shellfish ordinance and how that governs how we deal with all of our shellfish related regs in Florida in particular. And so I sat on the education committee this year, and we didn't have any particular business to take care of or any actions that were made related to the model ordinance or its implementation. But next year I'll be on that committee as well, and I'm also going to be on the Shellfish Restoration Committee for the conference so I can participate in those discussions. And I just wanted to show you what I came home with. This is the model shellfish ordinance. I won't read it to you today, but that is the document that contains all of the governing rules related to the lab processes, the shellfish packaging and processing facilities, and the administrative aspects of shellfish regulation in the country, basically. And it's an incredible document, and this is the booklet of the 81 proposals that were considered this year at this conference for either additional language or changing language in the model ordinance to help regulate the shellfish industry. So they went through all of these at this conference, and I sat in the sessions where they discussed those. And there were two proposals that I wanted to mention that are probably going to impact our local industry to some degree. One of them related to something I mentioned a while back, this issue that FDA has a concern with related to botulism toxin in reduced oxygen packaging product of raw shellfish products. So there was a proposal that was put forth by the FDA, and the original task force that worked on that proposal at the conference basically killed the proposal and set it to the side. But when it came to the final General Assembly, there were delegates that actually pulled that proposal back out for more discussion. And at that time, the conference actually voted to send that proposal to committee rather than kill it completely, because they feel like they're going to really end up having to work with FDA on this ROP issue, because FDA has federal legislation that really mandates them to address it. They cannot just drop it. So rather than try to just push it away, they actually are going to try to work with the federal regulators on trying to come to some reasonable language and requirements for packaging raw shellfish products that are in basically vacuum packed raw product situations. The other proposal that came forward that actually did pass is a requirement for annual assessment of shellfish production and utilization. Florida currently does annual assessments for production by species, but this proposal will actually require documentation of volume of shellfish that goes to different types of utilizations, like raw shellfish product or post-harvest processed product, or what was the other one that they talked about? Shucking product. And Florida doesn't currently separate out those different types of product for shellfish. So it's going to be a reporting, additional reporting requirement for dealers. Somehow they'll have to get that information to the state regulator, which is, in our case, is the Department of Agriculture. But FDAX is going to have to decide how that will be implemented and how that reporting will take place so they can get that information. And it's somehow connected to the state's Vibrio control plans, because they need certain kinds of information to be able to do their risk assessment and their calculations for Vibrio numbers related to these different types of shellfish products. So that's coming down the pipe, and I will just kind of keep folks in the loop about these things that are going to impact our local industry here.
I got one comment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. Eric, I appreciate you bringing all this information out to the public today, but a lot of people don't realize that what the state guys do at the state level is mandated by the FDA. And it all pertains to shipping product across state line. And once you cross the state line, then you're in, just as they would federally prosecute a drug dealer or anything else. When you cross, or a kidnapper, when you cross state lines, you're going into another whole scope, and the feds take over. So the feds dictate a lot of what the state does. I know a lot of our local people, blame the state for this and state for that, but it's just rules that are mandated by the feds down to the state, and then it gets mandated down to our local industry. And a lot of people don't realize that these ISSC meetings are that important, because that is where all the regulations are developed and implemented, and then mandated down to the states, which then mandated down to our local industry. So I appreciate you coming in this morning and advising the public of just what's going on and the steps that it takes from the feds down to the states, down to our local, how it impacts our local fisheries here in Franklin County.
Yes, that group is really the connection for the dealers and the industry to interact with the regulators and help bring some common sense to some of the discussion when it comes to the actual rules that are written. That's the one chance that they have to give official input before rules are written, kind of in a vacuum up there in D.C. And it's a very good meeting. It really helps move the industry forward in some ways that need to take place, and basically the whole gist of it is just our concern for human safety and health related to the products that we produce.
Mr. Chairman, I just have to.
Yes, sir.
This morning, we'll be opening up bids on road paving. Eric, in that road paving bids is the road leading to the new reserve building. So I just want to let you know that when we open these bids and we select the lowest one, we'll have the fine idea of how much road paving is going to cost. We set aside about $125,000 in their reconstruction budget for the road paving. So we'll know when we open these bids, and I'll call you and let you know on that.
Good.
And the second thing is, just let the board know, unless there's been a significant change, I don't think there has, the sea turtle nesting season is about over, and this year we only received about 10 disorientation letters, which is a significant drop from what we had a year or two ago. So that's probably due to Eric and the programs that we've received, the money we got from the feds to do some lighting upgrades on St. George Island and other places. I don't say that's the only reason we've had improvement, but we've had much fewer letters coming in this year about disorientations. So something's made the turtles.
And we did just receive an executed contract with FWC for year 2 funding for that project, so we will be moving forward and getting things rolling on the second round. And we have about 50 agreements already in hand from homeowners on the island that are interested and willing to work with us.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many nests we had this year?
I do not. I have not tallied up or looked at the total numbers.
The nesting season's not officially over, not until the end of November, but essentially most of the turtle nests have hatched by this time. But at the end of the year, we'll get a report from the sea turtle people.
And that doesn't include the state park and everything?
You know the numbers? How many? 212 nests outside of the state parks numbers. They tally theirs separately. Jenna keeps track of the ones through the Research Reserve permit that
Jenny,
they manage.
Did you feel you had a pretty successful year this year, as far as you know? Okay. Good.
Anybody have anything else, Eric? Thank you, Eric.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Miss Ann Birchwell, Library.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
On November 3rd, today, at 1:30 at the East Point Branch, and November 4th at 11 a.m. at the Carabel Branch, Eric Lovestrand of the Franklin County Extension Agency will be presenting live non-venomous snakes at both libraries for a free educational workshop about these local reptile friends. I was informed that AARP will be providing volunteers for tax returns, again for 2015. These will begin in February 2016 with the team working on alternating weeks between branches. Of course, it's free to our Franklin County residents. Carabel Branch will begin a game social for snowbirds when they begin arriving in November. Also, there is a smoking cessation at the Carabel Branch Saturday on November 28th from 10 to 12. I recently completed 2 grants that William Massey signed for us for the Public Library Access Network Innovation Grant. One of the grants was for $7,000 to bring adaptive equipment for low vision and blind patrons named Vision for the Future. Recently, the Franklin County Public Library had 4 acoustic guitars donated from the Now I Play Along 2. It's a nonprofit organization for an enrichment program for the youth of Franklin County. This other grant I applied for, I titled Libraries Rock, is for $12,000 to provide more instruments and free lessons at both branches of the library as a partnership with Now I Play Along 2. More information will be announced in 2016.
Commissioners, excuse me, before we move on, I actually need board approval to authorize the chairman's signature. It's retroactive, but she had a deadline on those grants and she would have lost them. There were no matching grants. I ran them by Attorney Schuler and a couple other people. They said it was okay, but I still need board action to approve the chairman's signature on those 2 grants.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And for my action items, I recently received notice of resignation due to an out-of-state move from Library Assistant Maureen Downey, who works full-time at the East Point Branch. This will leave a vacancy at the East Point Branch. My request is that Ren Rickerson, who works at the Carabel Branch as a part-time employee, fill that vacancy at the East Point Branch. I am seeking permission to advertise to replace the part-time position at the Carabel Branch. So I need to advertise. So I need your approval.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a
Second.
motion second on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And my last action item is the Seafood Festival is a huge community event, as we know, and historically the library traffic trickles down to nothing. I'm requesting that we close the East Point Branch only this Saturday, November 7th, typically open from 10 to 2.
So
Anybody have
moved.
anything for,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That's my report.
Anybody have anything for Ms. Ann? Thank you, Ms. Ann.
Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, before you move on to the Sheriff's Department, I ask that we address item 3 on my report. That committee, I'm sorry, needs to get back to Tallahassee. That's the one on fracking resolution. I'll go ahead and read it. At the October 10th meeting, a resolution to support banning of fracking in the state was presented to the board for action. The board directed Attorney Schuler to make changes to the language, basically localizing the resolution. Attorney Schuler's version of the resolution is attached to your package. Is the board ready to move forward with supporting and authorizing the chairman's signature on this resolution?
Comment?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
I read the resolution last night, and I'm satisfied with it, mainly because it addresses, we're seeming like we're all pretty much together on banning fracking. But I wanted the resolution, as I stated at the last meeting, to address the issues of why Franklin County is against fracking, and it's all about our environment. All the money the federal and state government has bought up land north of us to protect the watershed flowing into the bay, and this resolution addresses all that. So with that, I'll make a motion that we
Second.
authorize the chairman's signature.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And I just want to say thank you to Attorney Schuler for putting our concerns and addressing them, particularly to Franklin County.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Commissioner.
I just would like to say thank you so much for this. This is the 18th county that has now passed resolutions. This is probably the most beautiful resolution I've ever seen. People don't normally attach the word beautiful to a resolution, but when I read this, I got chills. It is so wonderful, and I'm so grateful to you for your kindness and your graciousness in having me come back and and pass this resolution. It really means a lot. This is the 53rd resolution in Florida, counting, we just got Neptune Beach last night. And so you can see you're in good company, and I do really appreciate you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Alex, Congress, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good to see y'all today. Hope y'all got to avoid the rain this morning. It was pretty bad coming over from Panama City. Just wanted to remind y'all that the Congresswoman's office hours will start at 11 o'clock just across the way there at the courthouse, and we're here to assist any of your constituents and the Congresswoman's constituents with any issues with federal agencies, or if they'd like to let the Congresswoman know what their opinion is.
Have you heard anything on our dredging just on the channel?
Actually talked with the Congresswoman's legislative director about it yesterday, and he had a conversation with the Army Corps of Engineers about it yesterday. I haven't, I've been on the road for the last 48 hours or so, and so I haven't been able to be briefed on him about how that went, and I'm expecting to hear from him today.
Okay.
And looking forward to this weekend.
Does anybody have anything for Alex? Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Ms. Ginger Coulter and Lieutenant Martina.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ginger Coulter, Franklin County Sheriff's Office. We're here this morning to discuss some radio and rifle needs. The clerk's office is aware of this, and we have given them some information regarding this. But I'm going to let Lieutenant Martina discuss it further since he has more information on it.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all this morning?
Morning.
Great. Like Ginger said, I'm here this morning on a request for equipment. One equipment that we need is, my job at the Sheriff's Office is to make sure our law enforcement, our deputy sheriffs have the right equipment to protect the citizens of Franklin County, protect themselves so they too can go home at the end of their shift. I know this is an unbudgeted item, and it come to light when we had an incident a few weeks ago in Apalachicola where we had deputies that could not communicate on our radio system. I'm not here today to change radio systems. I'm here to get new radios, handheld units for our deputies, which we feel as admin is very important. We have to be able to communicate with each other and with our dispatch, which is our lifeline when we're out of our patrol cars. Our radios was not working. We had difficulty. We had our officers pulling up and right in front of the scene because the radios would not get out. Another issue we had was our guys pulled up and we got our handguns, and we was completely outgunned with a subject that had high-powered rifles and shotguns with scopes on them. And our deputy sheriffs and some of the Apalachicola police officers had handguns. So this incident really brought it to light to us guys as admin that with the things that's taking place in this country now, officers just getting killed, pumping gas, just serving civil papers. It goes on and on. So it's time for us to step up, make sure our guys are equipped. Now we've done a lot as far as ballistic vests. We've ordered smaller, thinner ballistic vests for our officers to hopefully wear to protect them on that aspect. But these two items I'm asking for today is something that I feel and we feel at the Sheriff's Office, and hope you guys feel that we need. It's not something we want. It's something that we absolutely need. It's been a long time coming, and now's the time to try to get it done, and I hope you guys agree. The 3 radios that we need comes to a price of $10,597.80. The cheapest we can find those is at Williams Communication. So I'm asking for 3 radios, and the patrol rifles we need, we have 20 deputy sheriffs, so we need 20. With everything that goes with the rifle. That was another issue we had. We had officers that was dealing with a scene here in Apalachicola with no weapon lights. We need lights on our weapons. That's something we're going to upgrade to, and we can do some of that through the budget. But on these rifles, we need to go ahead and try to do it now. So for the 20 rifles, and I've shopped around to try to get the absolute best price for the equipment we get. come to $21,629.60. So that's a grand total of $32,227.40 that I'm here asking you guys for this morning. And like Ginger said, we've also spoke to the clerk about this. She has some information for you guys, and I appreciate your time and hope you consider it for us. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
They were in contact with the finance office yesterday, so we're trying to see if there was money in the budget to handle these two requests. For the radios, there's a radio surcharge fund where I think it's $12.50 collected on traffic fines. In that fund, there's enough money in that fund is specifically for radios or equipment. So the $10,597.80 could come out of that traffic surcharge fund that's already budgeted in the fine and forfeiture fund. The rifles, there are funds budgeted in the fine and forfeiture account also that could pay for these rifles. I would suggest you approve payment from the fine and forfeiture fund for both items if that's your desire, and direct the sheriff's office just to work with my finance office on the purchase itself.
That's what I thought it could come out of, is fine and forfeiture. That's what we've got that account for. And I make that motion that we go ahead and do that. I want our officers to be having what they need to have to get the job done.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Now, Commissioner, remember we had asked Fonda to stand by for the radios because we want to see if they can get pricing for some radios that he needed also.
Yeah, let me ask Gary a question. Gary, what kind of, because I don't have no information on the rifles, what kind of rifles y'all getting? Assault rifles?
They're going to be AR-15 platform
AR-15 assault
and
rifle
223.
Okay.
And we'll have optics on them, lights.
And that's what you need?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't need the 45, you need the 15?
We've got the 45s now.
Okay.
The rifles is where we outmatched in this world.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes,
might.
sir.
The reason I asked Fonda to stick around is that he has been talking about needing radios for those individuals overseeing our inmates because they have to have 2 lines of communication. Have you got any pricing on that?
The radios that we got a price on, I think it's a little different from the sheriff department. It's $2,500. It's about the lowest they could get it for us. And that's what it's $2,500 just standard, and with the trunking, hopefully that the state will upgrade to, and they don't know when, but just in case it's $2,900. So we go ahead on and get that, and then if the state go over to this new system, we will have it in place. We want to get it later. So it's cheaper to buy the radio now that's capable of having the new system when it comes aboard.
And how many radios were you specifically looking at?
Well, we have three inmate squads, but then you have the trucks that's out on the road. And then a lot of them have their own personal cell phone. But, if something going wrong with them, they still need
You're
that.
supposed to have 2 communications, aren't you? You're supposed to be able to contact them by radio, or if not,
That's correct.
telephone. So, and they don't need to be using their personal telephone for county business.
Okay. No, they don't.
How many total do you need?
Roughly about 13.
What's your figure on it?
I hadn't got a bottom line yet. No.
We can address it later. I just wanted you to listen in on the conversation that if maybe he was doing something and we could package this thing together to get a better pricing, you know what I'm saying? But it sounds like y'all going for 2 different types of radios.
Yeah, I believe our system with our trunking and the channels we have to communicate with the state of Florida also in case of emergency management situation is a little different here. That's why our price is a little different.
Okay, I was just seeing if we might some way put that together, but finally, if you would, come back at the next meeting with a final number.
Okay.
And then total amount that you need, and let's get that done.
We'll do.
And two, I'd like to add the telephones in there. If he sees fit that, I know the road department, they have phones for the supervisors and some people like that, to where they have 2 ways of communication.
Yes, the inmate supervisor, the county do provide.
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
You should have the same thing.
Okay.
Y'all
That's the way I
have,
look at it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
do they provide, you provide anybody with phone?
The animal control officers, because they on call 24/7. The inmate supervisors, and Park and Rec, yeah, with the inmate supervisor and the supervisor for Park and Rec.
So you would just be all right with the radio? I mean, do you need some more phones?
Yes, well, I mean, like I said, we have 3 recycle drivers out there, and we have, 2 recycling, 3 knuckle boom. So they're on the truck by themselves, but they have a personal cell phone. So with the radio we have now, that's obsolete. If their phone go down for whatever reason, I have no communication with them until they come back to the landfill.
Okay, well, just like a Commissioner Perry.
Get the price for the phones too.
Price
and
the
everything.
phones in.
You gotta have that communication.
That's correct.
You don't want that liability to be out there, for sure.
And you don't want that person, they don't supposed to use their personal phone.
Right.
I got one more thing for Mike, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
For the lieutenant here. We had some vandalism at Abercrombie Boat Ramp this past weekend, where about 4 vehicles had all their tires slashed. The boat trailers had their tires slashed. You're looking at $800 to $1,000 for a set of tires to go in a car. My question is we need to increase patrol out there at Abercrombie Boat Ramp. We got hunting season coming up here, weekend after next. There'll be 80 vehicles out there, boats, trailers, and we need to increase that. And I got some ideas of some other things we need to do. My question is, could you arrange a meeting between yourself and Sheriff Mock and myself to go over some of the ideas and see what we can do about increasing patrol out there?
Yes,
Not
sir.
only there, but at Lombardi's, all of our little county boat ramps. If you're gonna have vandals going around doing this, and I got a lot of calls because that is in my district.
Right.
And these people coming back from up the river and all the vehicles sitting on the ground. All the tires have been cut, so I got some ideas. And my question is, would you relay that to the sheriff for me? And let's get together here sometime this week, maybe for lunch or something, and go over some of these ideas I got, and I appreciate it.
I will, Commissioner, when I get back. And also, Captain Segrey, Brad Segrey, is over the road patrol, so he handles their shift. And then he's got his lieutenants that he talks to. So I'll let him know, give you a phone call, and we want to have lunch, or you want to come over and sit with the sheriff in his office. We get it
Okay.
discussed, because that's sad.
I'd appreciate that.
Anybody else have anything from Lieutenant?
Just wanted to let the board know we're aware that the guardrail at the cemetery got wiped out for the 4th time, Bluff Road, this weekend, so we'll be repairing for the 4th time.
We need to see if there's a police report on that, which we always do, but there don't seem to be no police reports. I don't see how these people file their insurance when they don't make a police report.
Well, the Commissioner making the presumption they are filing. They may not be. They may not have any insurance.
Might not have a
Well,
license.
maybe not, but like you said, this is the 4th time we've had to repair that guardrail from people running over it. And, it's just costing the taxpayers a lot of money to keep replacing it, but there's a huge ditch behind that, and, it's a safety issue when if we was to take it down, then we'd probably be held liable for removing it. So all we can do is keep mending it, but,
Well, as you know, the curve used to be called Dead Man's Curve, so.
yeah.
We got a bunch of dead man's
They need to
curves
slow down
in
some.
county. We need to slow down.
Thank you,
We
Lieutenant.
like for y'all to get your stuff as soon as possible, because we don't want that harm way.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
We good with you?
Well, we'll take a 5-minute. We'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll be right back.
That clock needs